What's going on, YouTube? It's Big Brother 749 come back at you with another video. I want to give my take on Charlie Kirk, a tragedy that everyone's been talking about. I decided to go on and give my take on it. But Charlie Kirk, the conservative activist, was shot and killed on Wednesday, September 10th, while speaking at an event at Utah Valley University. A single shot was fired from the roof at a nearby building, striking him in the neck. And Mr. Kirk was 31 years old. He was a husband and a father, and his assassination has sent shockwaves all across the nation, where folks are having these intense debates about political violence. And when I first heard about the news about Charlie Kirk, I was shocked, but not in the way some people might think. Because I mean, I can't pretend that I liked Charlie Kirk or agree with everything he stood for. Because I know a lot of white folks that mega supporters, they out there trying to make this dude out to be some kind of martyr. But the reality is that he was far from it. His political views were designed to be deep and offensive because his words were often aimed directly at me and people who look like me. And I've watched his videos before, the ones where he's on college campuses debating students. And a lot of what he said on those videos, as well as in interviews, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And a lot of the stuff that he said was racist and dismissive and hurtful. And I mean, this was a man who once said, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. It's stuff like that, the things he said about black people, about the 1964 Civil Rights Act, things like that is what I thought was pretty cruel. And he basically got famous by saying stuff that was meant to get people mad at him and each other. And he'll say things that you're not supposed to say. And he was a master at using tricks with his words to make racist ideas sound normal. And this kind of violence, this political assassination, it used to be something we only read about in history books, like the political assassinations of the 60s. And we'll look at that and think we're better than that, but we're not. And a lot of his supporters want to claim this, as a simple act of violence against a political warrior. And yeah, it was an act of violence and a tragedy for his family. But to stop there, to say, oh, that's wrong, that completely misses the whole point that this event has had to offer to all of us, because this wasn't just some political tragedy that happened and that's it. It's a living testament to a deeply flawed idea. Because remember, Charlie Kirk was a faithful believer in the Second Amendment. He was killed in a state, Utah, with some of the most permissive gun laws in the country. This man was advocating the idea that people should have the right to carry guns for self-defense, even on college campuses, because he believed that American citizens being armed was the best way to secure freedom. He talked about how it was okay for people dying of gun violence, of mass shootings, because that's what's needed to defend his rights. And now he's dead from a gun. He died under the very conditions he advocated for, in a public space where someone with a gun could act out their rage. He died as a victim of the very same violence he was fighting for, getting killed while he was talking about gun violence. And this is just, a tragic example of how the policies you defend can be used against you. And it forces us to ask, is this what you meant by a prudent deal? Is this the cost that's worth it? A young life cut short in the very form where he believed he was the most safe. And see, the whole entire logic of the more guns, more safety argument is that a good guy with a gun will stop a bad guy with a gun, and that a person will be able to defend themselves. But in this case, that theory was proven to be a dangerous fantasy. It's a fantasy that assumes that everybody's rational and that in a moment of crisis, a good guy is always on hand and capable of stopping an attack. But see, the thing about that is that in a country that's flooded with firearms, the bad guy ain't this fictional, shadowy figure from a different world. He's just another dude with a gun living right down the street. And the truth is that this event shatters the illusion that we can solve our political problems with more gun violence and more firepower. And it's a wake-up call to both sides of the aisle, because for years the gun right movements have been convincing us that we should fear an external threat, whether it's the government or a foreign power. But this tragedy reveals that the real threat is internal. That's fueled by that very division and rhetoric that they help to create. We got to confront the fact that when we promote a belief that says the only way to be free is to be armed, to be strapped, we're also making ourselves vulnerable to the worst among us and to each other. And the one who shot Charlie Kirk, he was a 22 22-year-old white dude named Tyler Robinson. Now, I don't get why some people were so shocked that it was another white dude who shot Charlie Kirk. You know, because not all white people supported Charlie Kirk's views, and nobody was expecting a black or a Mexican immigrant to kill him. And I even heard some MAGA supporters say so, blaming blacks for this. You know, say a black person killed Charlie Kirk, which wasn't true, which don't make any sense. But everybody wants to claim Tyler Robinson for their side of the aisle. Trump blamed the radical left. The right want to blame the left. The left want to blame the right for this and that reason. When the truth is, nobody really knows what the real reason was. And these conflicting narratives just proves a point. I mean, the dislike of Charlie Kirk's views is more likely the reason. And it makes the most sense. But we're so desperate to blame the other side that we're willing to twist the facts to fit our own narrative and story. Because this shooting wasn't a win for nobody, no political group ever. So it was a huge loss for everybody who believes in a more functioning democracy. And this happened, I believe, on the very same day that shooting happened in Colorado, that school shooting. So on one side, a political figure is killed by a bullet, and on the other, 3 teenagers got shot. One of them shot the 2 and then shot himself. And it's a horrifying parallel. It's like the universe is screaming at us, telling us that this is no longer an abstract debate. It's a national crisis, and it's coming for all of us, no matter how old we are or what our political affiliation is. And of course, Charlie Kirk wasn't the first victim of gun violence, and he won't be the last. And his death does stand as a tragic warning. It proves that there's no prudent deal, as he stated, when it comes to human life. So it's time that we stop worshiping guns and romanticizing guns as the ultimate symbol of freedom, and start dealing with this reality of what they really are in this deeply polarized nation, which is a tool for our own self-destruction. But that's all I want to say, folks. This is Big Brother 749 signing out. I'm out. Peace.